Hello and welcome to the Domestic Cricket Podcast, where we discuss the latest news, big stories, player movements, fixtures, results, classic matches, and of course interviews with domestic and international cricketers. So if you're a fan of the Sheffield Shield, One Day Cup, or a cricket fan in general, you'll love this podcast. I'm your co-host Caleb Bland, along with Sam Fitzgibbon. We hope you enjoy this episode. Hello and welcome back to the Domestic Cricket Podcast. Today we speak to a man who, in terms of other professional cricketers, has had a very interesting and remote upbringing. From humble beginnings to a contracted Tassie cricketer, please welcome to the podcast, Mr. Ryan Lees.
Thanks very much for having me, mate. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Ryan, for all the people at home that don't know, you're a seventh generation Flinders Islander. Now, Flinders Island is off the north coast of Tasmania, a remote island with not too many inhabitants, but what was it like growing up on the island from a young age?
Yeah, you're right. It was very, very unique, but I absolutely love it, and I quite miss it. It's everyone knows everyone, which I love in a community, and it was so easy to do all the things I love doing, like fishing and swimming and diving, which I ideally miss. That ease of being able to go and put your boat in the water and head out, or walking down the street and making bike jumps with mates and things like that. I do miss it a lot. But it was a great upbringing. I think I was very, very lucky in that sense.
Yeah. So what did you do to keep busy? You mentioned fishing and dirt biking, so that sort of stuff you got up to on Flinders Island?
Yeah, all the fun stuff that I think my generation of kids grew up doing, but also we were quite lucky. We played what's it called, hide and go seek chases with my best mate, and we had a lot of bushland and untouched wilderness that we could run through. And I remember that being a very fond memory, and tree climbing in the early days. So I think that's what kept us busy after school. That and of course going diving for fish and things like that.
So what was school like on the island? How many people were at that school, and was it from K to 12?
It did go from K to 12. There wasn't a lot of people leave for college, so year 11, 12. I think when I was there was probably just under 100 students. I wouldn't know the number now, but it was a great school. The teachers that go over there are fantastic humans, I think, that are drawn to that sort of lifestyle. And we were very lucky with some of the teachers we had at the school. And, of course, most of the grades were quite small, so it was more individual time, I think. And I think we're very lucky in that sense that we have a very great education over there. And it's a shame that people have to move off for different opportunities, but that's just the way it is when you live in a remote island.
So, speaking of opportunities, your father ran the local mechanic workshop, I believe. Did you ever help him out in the workshop? And did you ever think of becoming a mechanic yourself?
He'll say that I didn't, but I certainly tried to help, and I still do every time I go over and visit, try and help him out. Yeah, him and my mother are very hard workers, and they started a business from scratch on Flinders Island, and it's grown into a pretty good business now. And they're also farmers at the same time, and they're two people I really admire because their work ethic is second to none. And I've never seen anyone in my life's work seen people work as hard as those two. So I do try and get over as much as I can and help them out with the business and etc. And yeah, look, I always enjoyed cars and automotive aspects, and I'd still consider doing a trade one day, but at the moment it hasn't came up, and we'll just have to see what the future holds.
Yeah, so it's a small island, and there was no organised sport on the island. There used to be a kind of footy comp between Team Black and Team Purple, I believe I read somewhere, and you just played for whoever you wanted to on the day. So how did you get into cricket on the island?
It's a good question because you're right. There was no organised cricket. There was a concrete cricket pitch at the school that started to get used once us boys, my mates and I, started to grow some interest. I think, like every boy, we still watch cricket on telly and things like that, and we still play it in the backyard. And my father loved cricket. I can't tell you the reason why, because he obviously grew up without any cricket on the island, but he absolutely loved it. And I think he loved bowling really fast and trying to hit me as well when I was batting. So I think that's why he enjoyed it, and I just got into it from there and played in the backyard. And once I moved over to the mainland, Tasmanian mainland, for school, that's when I started playing, I guess, more organised cricket. That would have been about when I was 14 years of age. But yeah, the only, like you said before, the only organised sport over there was football growing up, and it was Team Black versus Purple. And we had an under 12s and under 16, and same thing, Black versus Purple in each grade. So it was my only experience of organised sport. So when I got over to Tasmania, it was quite an experience getting used to organised sport, because I was used to just hogging the bat or hogging the ball in the tennis court at the time, or the backyard. So that took a bit of adjusting.
So 14 is a very young age to move from such a remote island to the big smoke in a way of the mainland Tasmania. So what was the move like for you, and how did you adjust between the two different lifestyles?
I had it a lot easier. A lot of my mates, when I said there was 100 kids at the school at the time, there was about 20 odd in my grade. So there was quite a few in my grade, and a lot of my mates moved at the same time. And they had it a lot harder than me. They went straight into boarding school, which I think would have been a huge adjustment for me. I was lucky my mother moved over for a year, and that was huge for me, because like I had someone to go home to every night and talk about how it was, because it is a lot different, the lifestyle. I guess you go from being able to do things very, very easy to, I went straight into, I think I was playing sport every night after school, and then having homework and things like this. It was a huge adjustment, and having to catch buses and things like that I never would have thought of on the island. So it was huge, and it was quite difficult, and it took a lot of years. And I'm grateful my mother moved over for that first year and a half to sort of sort me into it, and I was able to easily transition into boarding school then, and found it quite easy.
So how did you go at cricket in high school? Would you say you excelled in cricket? Obviously, it was a big change going from just playing with a couple of mates and family in the backyard to then playing on probably turf wickets. How did you find the adjustment, and did you, do you feel like you excelled in cricket moving to the mainland?
Yeah, I think I picked it up very quickly. All organised sport, cricket, basketball, and football. I think at that age, it's probably the right age to come over, and your natural talent does stand out still at that age. You haven't had to have people work on it. So I was very lucky in that aspect that I still had all the natural talent of a person that wanted to pursue, I guess, being an athlete as their career. So I was lucky in that sense. And like I said before, I played sport from when I got there every day after school. So and even before school. So I think I picked it up quite well. It wasn't until my later high school days where other aspects of life got in the way, and I sort of nearly gave pursuing a career in cricket up. And yeah, then after that, I guess what happened.
So at what age did you start representing Tasmania in state cricket competitions?
Quite late, actually, because I had a couple of years off cricket from grade, and when I say off, I only had off club cricket, so that was why I was ineligible for state stuff. So that was when I was 16, 17, and it wasn't until I was 18 that I made my first state team, which would have been back in 2012 now, 2011, 2012, and I went to a carnival in Adelaide for the Tassie under-19 team.
So you were then given a rookie contract by Cricket Tasmania in the 2015-16 season, which meant you got to train with the likes of George Bailey, Xavier Doherty, and James Faulkner, who have all played plenty of cricket for Australia. How did you find that experience? And was it nerve-wracking being surrounded by those blokes at such quite a young age?
It was. It was actually a tiny bit earlier than that too. It was straight out of the 19s, so I was fresh off the 19s and straight into a squad and even the 19s for me was a big step up from playing school cricket and in my local grade comp. And then I went to straight from the 19s, like you said, a rookie contracted player, and getting messages from Tim Payne and George Bailey and Xavier Doherty and Luke Butterworth and Ben Hilfenhaus, and training with them. It was quite an experience, and I think something from my life, I was very quick to adapt and grow up. So I think that held me in good stead when I got there. My plan when I got to training on the first day was just to try and work as hard as I possibly could to be able to, I guess, not look out of place against some of these really good cricketers. And and I guess that was my mentality until I was delisted.
So at that time, did you play any second 11 cricket for the Tigers?
Yep, yeah, I actually played a game before I got contracted, so I was quite young then. I would have been 18, 18 at the time. So I played quite a lot of second 11 cricket during the course of those years up until 2015 when I got a shot at some other representative cricket. So yeah, I've played quite a few games of second 11 cricket. Yeah.
So in 2015, you were selected in the Tassie Tigers squad for the Mador One Day Cup tournament for that year. But then the Australian tour of Bangladesh got cancelled, and it meant Andrew Feckerty came back into that Tigers side and unfortunately forced you out of the side. But you then got picked up in the Cricket Australia 11 squad, who it was the first time they were in the tournament, giving players who were worthy of playing the competition a chance to play, even though they weren't selected by their selective states. Was it a bittersweet feeling for you being selected for Cricket Australia 11?
It certainly was, yeah. It was awesome still to get the opportunity, but leading up, I was Tassie through and through. That's who I wanted to make my list day debut for, and you just feel a lot more comfortable, I guess, playing with guys. That was my second or third year in the squad, and I was training with those guys every single day of the year. So I would have felt a lot more comfortable, but like in any aspects of cricket, you got to try and take your opportunities. I feel in that tournament I did. I played, I remember, a pretty disappointing debut against Victoria where we got absolutely smoked. And it wasn't until my second game that I sort of showed a little bit of what I could do. And I only played one more game that tournament due to injury. So, I mean, you've got to take your opportunities, and it was only 3 games, and I feel I didn't quite take as many opportunities as what I could, but I guess I did get chances again, and I took some of them and some I didn't, and that's just the way cricket is, I think.
So what was it like in that squad, the Cricket Australia 11, playing with a fair few very handy cricketers and then being coached by Greg Chappell and a few other fantastic coaches? What was how helpful was it being coached and being surrounded by that kind of team environment?
It was absolutely awesome, actually. You're quite nervous going in playing cricket with people you've never really met and you've only sort of played against in Futures League and things like that, and it's only some of them. So it is quite nerve-wracking, but I think you find a lot of people that are cricketers are really, really great people, and they were there to help me as much as I was there to improve myself. So that was awesome, and the coaching staff I've had along the way, especially in that setup, were sensational. I've met some great people and had some great mentors, so that was awesome. And Troy Cooley truck. He was fantastic in that tournament as well. He was really easy going, and you felt like you really wanted to play some good cricket for him. And I think I've had Michael Divenuto also in that setup, and he was fantastic. Still, I think he only ever coached me for one game, but it was great. They certainly know what they're doing, and they make you feel like you can play some great cricket. So there's some great people I met along the way in those sort of squads.
And later that year, you were selected to play for Cricket Australia 11 again, but not in the One Day Cup. You were playing against the touring West Indian side in Brisbane, which would have been quite an honour and achievement for you. What was that experience like?
It certainly was. It was my first class debut, and it wasn't the way I saw myself debuting. Like I said before, it was same as the One Day Cup. It was sort of bittersweet because I wanted to debut for Tassie, and unfortunately that didn't happen. So it was bittersweet, and but it was still huge for me, and I wanted to take that opportunity, and I think I did. I had a decent game that game, and like I said before, that was the game Michael Divenuto coached, and he was sensational to play for. And the group we had were a really, really good group, and I think we won by an innings or something over a Test nation. So it wasn't a bad effort, and I think we had 6 or 7 first-class debuts in that game. So it wasn't a bad effort from us, and it was a good taste of what that next level was like. And I thought it was a great experience.
Well, you certainly took your opportunity. Reading through the scorecard in the first innings, quite some fantastic figures. Only the 1 wicket, but just the 28 runs off 22 overs at an economy rate of just 1.27. And then in the second innings, you took the wicket of Craig Brathwaite, who's a mainstay in that West Indian side, along with Jeremy Blackwood, who you took the wicket of in the first innings, and the keeper Dinesh Ramden. Very economical and took plenty of wickets. Do you feel like you were on top against that West Indian side at times when you were bowling?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was just a really good team performance, actually. I know that's very cliche to say, but I had 2 different roles in the one game, and it was just good to be able to do both. I remember in the first game, it was my role. I think Simon Malenko took a lot of wickets in the first innings, and my role was just to try and tie up at end and create as much pressure as I could. And we did that well, and we bowled them out quite cheaply. And then in the second innings, I got the chance with the new ball to sort of be attacking, and I was lucky enough to bowl a few good balls in that innings as well. I still think that second innings is probably the best I've probably ever bowled, and it was, I guess it was just awesome to be able to play two roles in a game, and that just shows the sort of skill level these guys need to have to play at that level. Is their roles can change like that in a game, and they've got to still be on top. And that was a good experience of that.
And you also played another first-class tour match. It was a day-night match at Kazali Stadium in Cairns against the touring Pakistan side. In the first innings, once again, extremely economical, 1 for 24 off just 15 overs, and you took the wicket of none other than Yunus Khan, one of the greats of Pakistan cricket. And then in the second innings, you got 2 wickets, 2 for 28 off just 13 overs, going at 2.15 and over, and getting the wickets of another Pakistan legend, Misbah-ul Haq. You actually bowled him out, same with Safaraz Ahmed. And actually, you bowled Misbah out for a 29-ball duck. So how was that? Did you feel like you played even better in that match? And what was your role against the Pakistani side?
So I remember that trip. That was one of my favourite trips, actually, because we had a great group of boys, and a great. I think things could have gone the other way in that match as well, which would have really topped off that trip if we had have not bowled Pakistan out so early and had to face them under Muhammad Amir under lights. That was the fastest bowling I've ever seen and faced, and some of the scariest stuff. I actually came in as a night watchman, and from there I've never really wanted to bat against pace ever again. But it was awesome. It was an awesome group of boys we had in that trip, and I think I just remember it being really, really humid and hot. And I guess what we tried to do is we just all built pressure and we bowled quite well. And I think we bowled them out for, wouldn't have been much more than 200. And like I said before, it's hard to say now, but I think we were unlucky that we had to face Muhammad Amir bowling very fast under lights and swinging it quite a while. It's actually some funny footage if you get a chance to look that up on YouTube. And we just couldn't recover from that collapse. And I can't remember how much they ended up winning by, but I think they won by quite a bit in the end. But we certainly felt in the game, and it was just unfortunate we had that first collapse. So that was a great experience. And if I had to pick anyone I wanted to take polls against that game, it would definitely be Misbah and Eunice. And I think I might have actually said that to someone. I was going to get them both out. So I was pretty happy that happened.
So I was actually up in Cairns recently, and I went to Kazali Stadium. It's a beautiful ground. It'd be great to. What was your opinion on the ground? It'd be great to get an opinion of someone who's played a day-night match there. What was the pitch like, and what's the outfield generally like at the ground?
Oh, it was awesome. The pitch was really, really flat, but it's all. I love it because the humidity brings the bowlers back into the game. It swings quite a bit, and it will swing all day, which is great for a bowler. And I think it will, with all the wickets you see now of people batting on absolute roads, it's not the greatest, I don't think, for spectacle wise. And I just felt the bowlers were always in the game because it was moving quite a bit because it was very humid. I think facing people like Muhammad Amir and Mitch Stark and that under lights up in Cairns would be some of the hardest batting in the world, and that might have a say on whether it ever goes ahead. But no, it's a great place. Cairns is a lovely place to play cricket, and like I said, we had a really good experience because we had a great coach, Brad Hodge at the time, and a great group of boys. So it was awesome.
And also in 2016, you played for the Cricket Australia 11 again in the Matador One Day Cup tournament. What did you feel like? Was it quite a bittersweet feeling again, not being selected for your state, but also getting another opportunity playing in the Cricket Australia 11?
Yeah, certainly. It was a tough year that year actually because I started having quite a bit of trouble with my back that crept into my game for a long time. That no one could figure out what was wrong with me for a long time. But I remember tearing my side just before that tournament and getting asked if I wanted to go home, and I was like, no, I want to prove that I should be playing for Tassie, so leave me here. Unfortunately, I don't think I had too great a tournament, and I only ended up playing 2 or 3 games. Sort of blocked that one out of the memory because it wasn't as good as tournament as the year before and as the experiences I had. But yeah, that was sort of the start of a bit of a downward spiral to my career, I think, because I couldn't get over a niggling injury that I had for quite a while, and only just recently figured out what it was and fixed the problem. So yeah, it was a good experience, like all those sort of tournaments are. And you learn different things, and you go back and you know where you can go better if it ever happens again. And I think after that, I was lucky enough. I got another game in the CA set up to play South Africa, which I got through. I was in a bit of pain, but I think I played okay. But yeah, like I said, there was the start of a downward spiral, that tournament. Not one that I look back fond of.
So yeah, you had some serious injuries. Do you feel like that kept you from being picked in these tournaments and for the state side for the next couple of years and not playing as much cricket as you would have liked?
Not early. From 2013 to 15, I didn't have an excuse at all. I think I just wasn't picked in the best 11. I don't think I really hit the peak of my powers until 2015 and 16. I think after that, playing with the injury I had was quite difficult, and unfortunately at the time I didn't know, and no one else knew what the injury was. And playing with that injury for so long, I think now I look back and I go, well, hang on, maybe you did a good job to even get out in the park, because it was quite difficult. But at the same time, I think it definitely affected after that 2016 Matador year. It certainly did affect how I could play the game, and in the end, I led to not being good enough to get a contract, and that happens in cricket. And now it's finally fixed, and hopefully I can keep just playing some good cricket.
So, how did you stay motivated during those times of injury, and to kick yourself back up on your feet, and keep your professional cricket career alive and keep those aspirations alive as well? How did you manage to wake up every morning knowing that you've got to keep going for this cricket career to work?
A great difficulty. It was really hard because it wasn't just. It sort of got into a space where it was a very dark time for me, and it was hard because I was going out there after that 2016. I think I got delisted in 2017, so it was a quick downfall spiral. But it was hard. I played a lot of cricket from 2016 until last year, 2019, with this injury, and I thought my career was done. I said I'm not going through another year like this, and I kept going to doctors, and lucky I did, because one was able to spot what was wrong and what had been wrong for the whole time, and now that's fixed. But yeah, it was a very dark day. I had to take something I'm not proud of, take a lot of painkillers to play from the years 2016 and 19 until I figured out what they can do to athletes and what they have done to some of my friends. And I was like, I'm not taking painkillers anymore. I'm going to find out what's wrong with this. It's not in my head like other medical professionals had suggested at the time, that it could be in my head, and it could be a thing called perceived pain. And it was lucky that I kept pursuing with that, because I was able to find out what the problem was, and find out that the problem had been there the whole time and it wasn't in my head, and that it was just 3 years I'd prefer to probably forget. And it was good because I was able to move on. And now that it's fully healed, the fracture I had in my back, it's made life a lot more pleasant and cricket a lot more pleasant. And I'm really enjoying my cricket now and getting back to bowling how I could in 2015, early 2016. And that's something that excites me, and just being able to do everyday life again, like going for swims and riding my bike, is just it's magic. And those 3 years are just something now that I've learnt from, and I probably should have been more proactive and looked at outsourcing at other medical professionals earlier, and getting trusted advice and trusting myself that there was pain there and I needed to get it fixed. And something I look back now and learn from, that I probably won't go by everyone's medical advice or everyone's word of tongue at the time, and I'll look to see what's wrong with me, because I'm the one that I know what's wrong with my body. And yeah.
So you're almost glad that those 3 years were at quite a young age in your career, because right now you're 26, and for a lot of athletes, especially cricketers, that period between 26 and 30 is usually their prime. Do you feel like it was almost good in the way that you had that injury the past 3 years and not these next 3 years coming into an athlete's prime?
Definitely, and that's the only way I'm going to look at it. I won't look at it the other way. I don't want to think about what could have been or what happened, because I want to look now. I want to look towards my future. I don't want to look at that. And my future's now is just enjoying my life and getting back to enjoy my cricket, because during that period I didn't enjoy my life. Being able to physically move was a big part of it's always been a big part of my life. I'm a very active person, and not being able to do that, and certainly go out there and bowling 30 odd K slower, and not being able to play how I knew I could play, it was quite a hard time. And the only thing now is I'm happy it's over, and I'm just looking forward to what my future holds, and whether that be going further in cricket. I don't know. You never know how people perceive you going further. All I can do is enjoy it and play as good as I can and enjoy my life.
So, are you still connected to Cricket Tasmania and that state squad at all, or are you just in that Premier cricket competition, trying to force your way back into the eyes of the Tassie selectors and that whole Tassie cricket industry?
It's a pretty good question, actually. From I think 2017, 18, one of those years, I actually played through the season with my stress fracture and had a good grade year, and was able to ask if I could join the academy, which is a Tassie. It's got set up after I was delisted. It was sort of the Tassie, I guess, second 11 players that could potentially play, make that squad in the future or play Futures League. And I was in that, but I had a stress fracture in my back and I couldn't train, and that was quite hard to tell people and coaches that I couldn't train through pain, and they'd ask why, and I'd be like, I'm not really sure at the moment, because at that time I didn't know what was wrong with me. And I think when COVID hit, and I actually started playing cricket again this year in the Premier Comp, I sort of just didn't get invited back, and I haven't heard anything since. But I guess like anything with cricket, if you keep playing well, you might get asked if you can come back and train or something like that, and just have to wait and see if that happens. I feel that I'm playing some good cricket again, and I'm enjoying it. So if it comes, it comes, and if it doesn't, then I'll just move on with my life.
So you're currently playing for university, I believe, in the Premier League down in Tasmania, along with none other than the Australian captain Tim Payne and a few other great Tassie players. So what's it like playing grade cricket with those blokes, and are they as serious in grade cricket as they are in state and national teams?
It's awesome. It's the best grade team I've been involved in this year, and we've only played the 5 games. We haven't lost a game yet, and we've unfortunately drawn 3 due to rain, but we've had two massive wins, which is awesome, against 2 of the top 4 sides. So that's, sorry, my dog's just going crazy right now as well in the background. So if you hear some funny noises, it's from her. It's really awesome playing with these guys, and they're all as serious as what you can see, because it's been their club for a long time. Payne and Jimmy Faulkner, and Jimmy Faulkner's our captain at the moment, actually, and he's just starting to hit some really, really good form, and playing some as good a cricket I've ever seen him play. So that's exciting, I think, not just for us, but also the Hobart Hurricanes, and probably even Cricket Australia, because we all know what he can do when he gets going, and he's playing some great cricket. And Payne's first match will be this weekend, and you can guarantee he is the most competitive person you'll ever meet, and he will be giving it his 100%, and getting quite angry if we don't perform how we should. So he's a very competitive person. He's been a great role model and leader for me, I think, and was certainly part of the reason why I went there, because he's one person I can really rely on. And also our coach, Damien Wright, is I think he knows my bowling as well as anyone has ever known my bowling, because he's been my coach since playing for Tasmania days. So we've got a great group of boys, and we're playing some really good cricket now, and we just knocked off top of the ladder team. So hopefully we'll be winning some premierships come March.
So touching on Tim Payne, what's your relationship like with Tim, and how long have you been playing cricket with him and being mates with him?
I think from when I joined the squad in 2013, Tim was one of the initial four or five people that actually sent me a message as soon as I joined the squad as a 18-year-old rookie. So that was straight away to me was a great testament of those blokes' character and the group I was getting involved in. And Yeah, certainly. That's I've ever since then I've been very close with him because he's someone that you can talk to, and he's got a lot of time for everyone, and he's had a lot of time for me, and he's helped me out, especially when I got delisted, moving into a new house. I actually moved into one of Tim's houses, and yeah, ever since I sort of grew in the squad, I grew quite close to him, and I can call on him for any bit of advice in cricket and life, and that's a great mate to have, I think. So yeah.
And coming back to the Premier League in Tasmania, how strong is the competition, and how often do the state players feature in regular round matches?
I'm very happy you asked that because I love to tell all my mainland friends that think they're Victorian and New South Wales comp is great. It's really good. The state players play quite regularly. This season, not as much, but they do play. They do play quite regularly, and there's only 9 teams in the competition, so you've got to divvy a squad of 20 odd state players into 9 teams. It does strengthen up the side, and this year we've been lucky enough to. I guess it's unlucky in some cases due to COVID. We've had a lot of serious Victorian first grade players come down and filter into teams, and the competition this year is quite strong, and once the Big Bash bubble is over, I'm sure it'll be even stronger.
So, what's your go-to from here? You've finally recovered from that serious injury. You're playing good cricket in the Premier League. What are your plans for next, 1 to 2 years and beyond that as well, in terms of cricket? Not only cricket, but your life. Will you stay on the mainland, or will you venture back to Flinders Islands?
I'd love to venture back to Flinders Island, but I think it's just a little bit too early. I'm very easy about my future now. It's not all cricket, cricket, cricket. I've learnt to enjoy other things in life, and I think going forward, I'm going to train as hard as I can and get myself into as great as nick as I can, and hopefully have a very good season. And whatever happens, happens from there. That's all I can sort of do going forward. It's still my dream to play professional cricket because that's what I grew up doing, and that's what I feel I'm the best at out of anything that I do. So my dream is still to play, but at the same time, I'm really looking at other aspects of my life. I love my diving. I'd love to make a career out of. Currently, I'm just letting life continue as it is. I'm loving playing cricket for the University of Tasmania. We've got a great squad and a great club and a great group of coaches, and I really feel this year we're going to bring some success. And I feel if I'm leading the attack and we're winning lots of games at cricket, I have to be looked at. If I don't get looked at, that's how it is. I just keep doing what I do, sort of thing. So that's my outlook at the moment. I think it's really helped me play. It makes me excited to play cricket now. So.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, Ryan. It's been fantastic speaking to you. You've had a very interesting life, and it's only just beginning for you. And hopefully, see you back playing the green, red, and yellow very soon, or at least some sort of professional cricket. And yeah, you're a really good bloke. As you can see, you've got the Ryan Lee's Cricket Australia 11 jersey in the background, and that you kindly gave me. And yeah, it's been fantastic speaking to you once again. And thanks for joining us on the Domestic Cricket Podcast.
No worries, mate. Thanks very much for having me, and all the best.